All things to take into consideration after he's asked himself, is this good for the students? Can you remind me what the second question was?
Experience.
I have a lot of experience inside and outside of Missouri State making administrations more responsible to those they serve. Like I told you earlier, my high school experience was quite unique. I won't go into more detail on that. I'll share one experience in the United States military where I'm an intelligence analyst and I hold a top secret security clearance. Me, a lowly little E4 specialist, not very high on the food chain, saw the abuse of a commander to another one of his soldiers, and instead of just saying, well, he's the commander, he's in charge, I submitted an IG report which got the commander reprimanded and the ruling overruled. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question. I wrote it. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. All right, go ahead. Yeah. What do I believe the qualifications of our student body president are? As Jay addressed, they are first and foremost to represent students. To have an office in the student union is a great resource for that because the student union is the living room of campus. However, the student body president also has an obligation to take those student concerns to different administrators and to work with our faculty and our administration to get those priorities accomplished. The student body president represents us in our board of governors meeting every time they meet and gives a report on what the Student Government Association is doing and what it has passed and what it has not passed. As far as my accomplishments, my qualifications, I've been very involved on campus since my freshman year. Like I said, I'm a junior. I've been in SGA for the past 3 years and have had the opportunity to serve as a director over this past year. I'm very involved with Greek life on campus, having the honor to serve as my fraternity's president, as well as work with several other Greek organizations. Finally, I've done a lot to work with students through our University Ambassadors Program, our SOAR orientation program, and peer leading, which works with our freshman students. So I have a dedicated experience to helping our students on campus and to make campus a better place.
I would agree with all the tickets that have answered that the first job of the student body president is to represent students. And I think that job starts with educating students about what's going on here at the university. It's really hard to represent students and represent student opinions on things like plus-minus grading when students aren't aware of the fact that that discussion is going on in the administration. And so I think something that I would like to do better in the Student Government Association is being out among the students and educating students about what's going on with the administration, what's going on in faculty senate, so that students know what changes are on the horizon and so that they can have an opinion, and that would allow me, as student body president, to effectively voice that. So I agree, representing students is the job of the student body president. As far as my qualifications for the job, like Zach, I've been very involved on campus since my freshman year. I've been involved recruiting prospective students through the University Ambassador Program, transitioning students to the university as a peer leader in the IDS 110 class. I've been very involved in residence life and services. I'm the current president of a student organization on campus. I really feel that between Kristen and myself, we've experienced pretty much every aspect of the university. That's allowed us to gain a lot of knowledge about how things work here at the university, and I think that knowledge is important to be able to represent students. When you're sitting in a meeting and the administration asks you, how's this going to affect students, you're not going to be able to say, well, let me get back to you in a day or two because I'm going to have to find out about that issue and how that really works. I think Kristen and I really have a lot of that knowledge, and that is, I think, maybe would help us in this position. And experience-wise, I think one of the things that maybe sets myself apart is that I will live on campus next year. Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll ask a similar question of the vice presidential candidates. If elected vice president of the student body, what do you personally view as the duties of the position of vice president? What qualifications do you possess, and what experiences have you had that make you most qualified?
Thank you for your question. The Vice President of the Student Government Association is basically your leader of Senate. It is your liaison to your student organizations and kind of the leader of the cabinet members and the directors. They work on more on a one-on-one basis with the people that are in Senate to, get things done for student organizations, hear your concerns. So it's more of a one-on-one opportunity to work with students more so than working with administration like the president does. Qualifications-wise, I am a senior on this campus. I am an accounting major, a biology minor, and I'll be around for the 5th year due to switching majors halfway through. I've been here for 4 years. I know what this campus needs, what it does, how it functions. I'm a proud brother of Theta Chi fraternity, Order of Omega honors fraternity. I've been a peer leader. I'm the director for University Advancement of SGA. And I've done other things on campus that make me qualified. But more importantly, I have the experience of working with students on a one-on-one basis. That's what's most important to me, working with students and working for students. I'm more of a conversational person who wants to sit down with you and hear your conversation. What concerns you? What would you like to see at this university? So I feel like I'm more than qualified for this position. And I would like to see the Vice President take a more active role in meeting with administration to make sure that there is a more accountable structure in SGA. Thanks.
All right. Just to go into my experiences a little bit here on campus, I've been involved in residence life extensively since I've been here. Last year I served in the Residence Hall Association and on my Buildings Hall Council. This year I'm a resident assistant in Blair Shannon House. I've been Greek for 3 semesters so far, and I currently serve as committee chairman in my chapter. And I've been in SGA the entire time I've been at the university, which will be 4 semesters at the end of this year. And in that time I've served on a variety of different committees and have a lot of different Senate experiences. The duties of the Vice President's really job is really to be the head of the Senate. And this ranges from presiding over Senate meetings to making sure that the meetings flow smoothly and efficiently and properly. The Vice President, in my opinion, is also responsible for all the background stuff that goes on in Senate. And that's directors being accountable for their positions and what they do and being ethical in those leadership roles. And it also has to do with making sure senators are informed and have the information and the experiences they need to do their job. It's important to work with everybody and make sure everybody is where they need to be so that the Senate functions the way it should and best represents the students. And I would plan on doing that.
Good evening, everyone. I see the position of Vice President in Senate as having a few duties. First of all, the Vice President is primarily in charge with helping the student body president represent the students to the fullest. Additionally, the student body Vice President helps to run Senate, serve as a guidance of efficiency over the body, and make certain that the directors are doing the things that they need to be doing, things of that nature. I also believe that the student body Vice President should aid the student body president in educating students on issues so that we can best represent all of you. As far as my qualifications specific to the job, I'm proficient in parliamentary procedure. I've been in SGA for about 3 years, so I understand how meetings are run, and that is the primary task of the Vice President, to run meetings, who are chair of the Senate. Talking a little bit about my experience, as I said, I've been in Senate for 3 years. 2 of those years I've been serving as your Director of Political Activities. Last year I led a voter registration effort, registering over 1,000 students. I've been working hard on lobbying, specifically related to lobbying. I was one of the founders of the Missouri Higher Education Consortium. Essentially what we do is we unite the 13 public institutions of higher education, and we lobby for you all in Jefferson City on serious budget concerns, tuition issues, things of that nature. Additionally, I had the pleasure of serving as a legislative intern in the Missouri legislature for a semester, one of the greatest experiences so far, I would say. I'm also a member of the Gamma Phi Beta sorority and currently hold an officer position. In addition, I've been the president of a student organization here on campus, and I currently serve on their statewide board, and I really feel as though these qualifications will help me to lead Senate in a better, more efficient, and transparent nature.
All right, well, what we have now is each ticket can ask the other tickets a question. You have 30 seconds to pose the question, then the ticket to whom the question is directed has 1 minute, and then the ticket that posed the question has a 30-second rebuttal. So why don't we do it this way? We'll begin with this ticket on my left. You can ask a question in the middle, and then we'll ask a question of the Polly Snonka ticket at the end. So 30 seconds to pose your question to the Smith-Maddox ticket.
Okay, thank you. Our question to Zach Smith and John Maddox is your bookstore 50% program.